Did you know that 75% of Colombia is a rural territory, and of these people, 74% have lack of internet and have little electricity? Good afternoon, we are Daniela Pardo and myself, Sofía Betancourt, and we will present our final challenge project proposed from the Educational Psychology class in La Universidad de La Sabana. Now, these are alarming figures considering that we're going through the pandemic due to COVID 19, which has generated significant damages worldwide. And to date, there are around the world an approximate of 4.2 million of deaths of people. And the most effective way to communicate with others is through internet. This pandemic led to education being developed through virtuality with online teaching or through workshops that use asynchronous learning. However, the suspension to face-to-face classes caused a severe difficulty in the learning process and increased the risk of school dropouts, specifically in the rural areas of Colombia. Children began abandoning education due to the low quality and the need to be productive, making the gap between rural and urban areas increasingly evident. In fact, in Colombia, of half of the 15-year-old students without internet access, 30% did not have a place to study, less than 20% have a tablet or a computer, and 18% have a member in their house with high school education. In this matter, all of these problematics mean that some of these young people would be spending their time in criminal gangs to commit crimes related to micro-trafficking to find some economic support. In response to this, the government provided some solutions that have been able to cover part of the problem, but there is still a large gap between the rural and urban areas, and that gap also is part of a corruption problem. Actually, in 2020, Mintec propitiated a temporary telecommunications, engineering, security, and innovation union in order to bring connectivity to 7,277 points in remote locations. But there were many corruption problems because 70,000 million of the budget were stolen. In the sense, it is necessary an alternative route to online teaching, since it has been seen that it is a resource that is difficult to access due to structural situations such as jungle environments or economic situations. In this matter, it should be noted that 90% of residents in the third world countries, such as Colombia, have access to television or radio, while this number is 36% in terms of internet access.
Considering the current state of the problem, we want to improve access to quality education in rural areas in Colombia through an educational intervention that uses radio channels and asynchronous learning guides to provide education to children in the department of Bolívar, Colombia, who require an educational alternative in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. It's clear that the national government and other international entities had responded to the challenges generated by the pandemic, providing solutions to education through radio and televisions, tutoring methodologies, and increasing connectivity. For this reason, we propose Cascada conocimientos Sintonizando futuro to achieve a better quality education with long-term objectives. This program is based on a 4-week system in which no type of connectivity is necessary, and purpose and added value. It seeks to strengthen the sense of community by integrating cascade learning. In this idea, the elders help the minors and so on, in order to generate a sense of belonging with the community and with the learning itself, through the aforementioned chain of knowledge. The strategy also seeks to reduce the emotional impact caused by the pandemic, such as frustration, sadness, or other feelings related to not being present or attending to study places, increasing the supporting networks. And as a consequence, it will contribute to a decrease in the alliance of children with illegal micro-trafficking groups by engaging kids as active actors. So motivation will remain high. To carry out the process, we design 8 phases. Identify beneficiary families, determine families' necessities, carry out the hiring processes, the development of the training processes, the realization of information days with the parents, the start of the programs, the evaluation of the program every 8 weeks, and the program continuity. The 4-week cycle begins with a first week in which students in grades from 11 to 6th will receive classes of language, social sciences, and English, where they will receive classes through radio programs in the morning. In addition, it is expected that during the week, the elder students can support the learning processes of the youngest, supporting them during the classes or during the conduction of the guides. Similarly, the second week will cover these same subjects, but will be held for students in grades from 5th to 1st. This week, classes will be earlier so that the students can be accompanied by a supportive caregivers during their processes, although it will be possible to count with the students with higher grades. This week, it is expected that on Thursday and Fridays, there will be spaces where tutors can go to accompany the learning processes, solving doubts, and receiving workshops from the students. In the same way that the first and second week, the third and fourth week will be carried out, but with subjects of natural sciences and mathematics, considering that the review and visit of the tutors on Thursday and Friday of fourth week. In general terms, these spaces will be based on a joint support of guides with the fundamental academic content and the radio programs that will address these topics with examples and great detail, by having at the same time a facilitator role in the development of remote education. The sessions will be carried out in the morning with a duration of 1 hour for each subject, so that they can dedicate other spaces of the day to carry out workshops based on their daily living on the topics discussed during that spaces. For this reason, it is expected that on the days when the children do not have classes, they can dedicate this time to carry out the guides that seeks to respond to daily activities that they can do either with the support of other students or members of the community, or even participating in the work with their parents.
Now, in order to reach this objective, until now we have investigated that in the Bolivar Department of Colombia there is a prominent need for the implementation of alternative education strategies, having in mind that only 23.2% of Bolivarian families have internet connection and 13.6% have access through mobile internet, a number which is lower than the national average. Therefore, we chose to work with the Bolivarian families, specifically with the population of students between grade the 1st and the 11th of public and rural schools in the Department of Bolivar, Colombia. Now, having in mind that rural areas, the total of children between 4th and 17 years old in the Bolivar Department are 8,240, then we pursue to help the 10%, which are 824 families. For these, we will need the radio resources, a learning kit confirmed by some printed guides that we present to the students and the exercise to be carried out, essential elements for their development such as pencil, eraser, sharpener, and a calendar with a schedule in which they will receive their classes and with which they will be able to use it as an agenda to organize their time, and all the human resources. Now, which are the human resources, you may ask? Well, our team is very well trained, since we will need professionals that help the intervention, having the role of tutors who will support the process in the territory. Also, our team is made up for each student's family, since it is expected to encourage parents to get involved in the learning process of their children, seeking that by making the guides they can also learn from them from this process, in addition to benefiting by the support of other professionals within the program in order to resolve doubts or learn things that are of interest to them and benefit the learning and development process of their children. However, we must think also about the media in which the information is going to reach the target population, so we will have a complete audio engineering and communication team that will support us with the radio program.
To carry out this project, although a lot of knowledge and love is necessary, but effective financing is still necessary to achieve our objectives. For this reason, we are offering 10% of our profit for a financial and collaborative support.
Our contribution to Colombian education is 0.31% of the territory, but with your help, we can reach to so much more than that. We are presenting our project to you. Now, what were your contribution to solving connectivity problems in Colombia will be? Thank you very much.